Welcome to Session Sunday. Hi guys, it's Jack Edwards, and in today's video we're going to be focusing on dribbling to score. But before we get into this week's video, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe, and if you missed last week's video, click on the link above. Okay, so moving into the first part of this week's session, we're going to be focusing on our dribbling, so we're going to be focusing on our ball control, okay, working out the tight spaces to score, and then driving in towards a pole or a mannequin, okay, to produce a bit of skill to go into space and score. Okay, so it's more of a technical practice unopposed for now, so focusing on our speed with the ball and our ball control. But before we get into it, let's have a look at how many players we've got this week and the equipment that we'll be using. So in the session, we've got 12 players. Now you can adapt that for more and less players. We also haven't got goalkeepers, but if you do have goalkeepers, we can speak about how we can adapt that as well. In the first part of the session, you should have 2 goalkeepers in this area here. And in the other part, we'll speak about how you can put goalkeepers in there as well. Now, in terms of the equipment, we're going to be using balls, bibs, cones, and then if you do have them, poles or mannequins to use, especially for this first part of the session, to give a player, okay, a defender to dribble past in here, okay, so that when they're driving up to it, okay, it's reenacting being able to have a bit of skill, so dropping the shoulder, Cruyff turn, whatever the players want to do, step overs to take the ball into space, and if it's a pole or a mannequin, okay, it's more realistic to a game scenario. Now, in terms of the setup for this part of the session, okay, so the distance from where the cones are to the other cones here is 10 yards. So you're kind of given 2 yards, okay, for each cone. Now, it's going to be 5 yards further back until we get to the goals here. So you've got 20 yards of depth, and then it's going to be 15 yards of width, okay? And then this pole and the mannequins in here are just going to come in 5 yards either side, so there's 5 yards in the middle here. Now, once the player's been, they can just get the ball and go to the back of the queue, okay? What we're just focusing on, okay, for now, is going from nice controlled dribbling to finish, to then getting another ball, driving into space and finishing, okay? So it's kind of like an activation type drill. So the players, okay, are going to drive through here, okay? So close control, using both feet, keeping the ball close to the body. As soon as they come out of here, take it into space, they play into the goal. Now, once they've done that, there'll be another ball here next to the goal for the team to take, okay? The player's then going to take that ball, drive in towards the pole or the mannequin, and produce a bit of skill, okay, to go either side, to take the ball into space, and then finish. As soon as that's happened, okay, the next player will get ready to go, okay, and dribble again, and this player is going to come to the back of the queue, so they're coming in, coming round, coming in, coming round, take the ball in space, play, and again, that next ball will be waiting for them, drive in, drop of the shoulder, play in. Now what you can do is to make it competitive is that every time the players score, team gets a point, okay? And you can make it a race as well. So it could be each player's got to finish, okay, for a team to win, but every goal that they miss, okay, can be like a second taken off, because obviously it's going to go based on time then. So the players obviously going at the same time. So this group's going to do the same. So they're going to come in, they're going to come round, they're going to come in, going to come round. As soon as they cross there, finish, and then heading towards here where the next ball will be. There we go, take it into space, so nice quick movements and playing. So what you want in this area is that they're driving at speed, okay? So the quicker they move at a defender, it's more difficult for the defender to see where they're going to go and then control that next movement as well. If it's slow, okay, it's harder to get away from the defender because they can control, okay, the play, and they can delay them, okay, and look to deflect them away from goal. So make sure that when we're attacking that mannequin or the pole, we're doing it at speed as well. And then if you wanted to, you can swap the teams over, okay, so they're working off the opposite side as well. So it goes a little bit more using the other foot as well. It's just using one foot when they're dribbling, and when they're passing into the goals, making sure that the players, when they're coming through here, that when they're turning, okay, they're able to use both feet, okay, the insides and the outside of the feet to keep the ball close to the body, so then they can manipulate it into space. We will now move into our first animation before moving on to part 2 of this week's session. Now moving into part 2 of this week's session, we're now moving on to a drill which is focusing on 2v1, okay, dribbling through the opposition to score. Now, the setup for this part of the session, okay, so we've got 3 areas here. Each area is going to be 15 yards of depth, okay, so you've got 15, 30, 45 yards. Now, the width is going to be 20 yards, okay. The players are going to go for a set amount of time before the teams swap over. So what the players are trying to do in their 2v1s is get through, okay, each zone to then score. So they're trying to combine in here, okay, so can they dribble past the line? As soon as they dribble past that line, this defender comes live, okay. As soon as they dribble past this defender and they get into the final area, the final third, they're looking to score, okay. So they're looking to, with their movement, okay, provide an option for the player in the ball, okay, to maybe bring the defender away to take them into space. Also, can they commit a defender, okay, to create space for their teammate to then receive it, so drive at them, support runs around, to then go through to the next box. Again, attack at speed, okay, so attack this player at speed, okay, and then they get through. Once they can see the defense coming here, attack at speed, can they play in, and then it goes in, final defender comes in, the defender might come in, which leaves space for us to go in there to then score. So we're trying to dribble, okay, but by dribbling, we're creating space by enticing the defender in to then play to our teammate to then score. Now, once we've finished, the next set of players get ready to go. What will happen is the defenders are going to move up one place each time. So once the defender's been in this area here, they'll move out and go to the back of the queue. This defender moves up here, this defender moves up here, and then the next defender comes in to here. If they win the ball, okay, so they can get it in. If they win the ball in here, okay, straight away, okay, that's fine. The play's finished, and then we just get set up, and the same thing will happen. Play moves out, play moves up, play moves up, and in there, and go forth, okay? So no matter where the defenders win the ball back, okay, we just set up and go again from the next one. So for the attackers, again, we're focusing on staying in control of the ball, attacking at speed, okay, and then encouraging our teammates to drive into space. But again, if your teammate's in space, okay, can you demand that ball, okay? So we're focusing on our speed, okay, our manipulation of the ball as well, and then being able to be confident to take a player into a 1v1 scenario. But again, comes to our supporters. So we could drive in, this player makes that run across, and then we're driving in. Okay, as soon as we're past here, this player's live. Okay, so we bring them over to this side, create that angle to play through, okay, and then we're away again. And as we come into here, this player might make that run across, which entices the defender, and we go in to score. So what you could do is you could say the team could have 2 to 3 reps each. So each player has 2 to 3 reps each, and then swap the teams over, and we go from the other side. Okay, so then the Blues will go and defend and the Reds will come in, okay, and we'll focus it on there. Every time the team scores, they can get a point. Every time the defenders get a point, okay. That by winning the ball back. Or you could score it, they can get 1 point for getting through this box, 1 point for getting through this box, and then they get 2 points for scoring. So they get like 4 points each time, and then the defenders, okay, whatever box they win it in, they get a point to take back to them for when they go and attack, and so forth. We will now move into our next animation before moving on to the final part of this week's session. Now moving into part 3 of this week's session, we're now moving into more of a small-sided game-based scenario, which is going to be focusing on driving into space to then look to score. Now, in terms of the setup for this part of the session, we're going to have 40 yards of depth and 40 yards of width. Now, the middle area is going to be 25 by 25, okay, and then the outside area is going to have 15 and 15, okay. Each side in here, so it's going to be 15 yards total. So you're going to have about 7 or 8 yards in here and 7 or 8 yards in here. Now, if you wanted to as well, you can increase that, okay, make it 10 yards either side or 15 yards either side, however you want to do it. Now, the players on the outside can swap over with the players in the middle, okay, after a set amount of time or after a play's finished, you can just look to swap over. The players in the middle are looking to drive out into space to look to score. Now, they have to dribble the ball out. As soon as they've dribbled it out, one of their teammates can come in to support them, so then it can be a 2v1 scenario to look to score. What we want from these players here is trying to stay as close to the line as possible, because in possession for their team, they can be passed to. But then when they don't have the ball, we want them staying here, so it's harder for the opposition to drive out into space. So they've got to try and beat them to get past the line to score. Now, the Reds can only score in these 2 goals. Blues can only score in these 2 goals, okay? So they're looking to obviously come out of this area or come out of that area. So ball gets played in, okay? If the player can't dribble into space, they're looking to move the ball. So use that floater to create space, okay? For a player to move out, one player could move in. As they move in here, drive into the space there, look to score. So we want it to be tight in here, so haven't got much room to beat the defender, so that they've got to think quickly, okay, make quick decisions and make sure that the ball stays close to the feet, okay, and they've got to think about, can they look to turn quickly, can they take the touch a certain way to then finish. As soon as the ball goes out, okay, coach will play the next ball in, so if the team scores, they can regain possession of the ball. So obviously for the opposition, they're looking to block their way out of out of the middle zone. So again, can they use the middle player, the outside player, sorry, to create the space? If there's no option, okay, player might drop in to receive the ball. They drive into here. As soon as they come out of there, they can look to shoot. Okay, so they're looking just to take the ball out of that area to score. Again, the outside players can swap over with the middle players. On transition, okay, can we look to secure the ball? So let's say the Reds have got the ball here, they play it in, player looks to turn, okay, and the Blues win it back. Secure the ball. So securing the ball might be a dribble into space. Also might be a pass, okay, out of pressure, okay, and when they've got that, can they look to attack? Okay, so attack vertically first. So if they're facing this way, can they look to attack that way? Okay, and then score. If they look to attack that way and it gets closed off, okay, can we turn and go the other way? So we've created space, we played out of one way, secured the ball, and can we look to score? So it's still going to be quick fire attacks, and the players are going to have to scan their shoulders quite a lot and be aware of space around them, okay? So can they make sure that they're in control of the ball, and then when they've got it, they're not focusing on going one way all the time. So they could be driving one way and then that space comes clogged up. Can they have the ability to open out and go the other way, drive into the space, and then look to score? We will now move into our final animation before concluding this week's session. Thanks for watching this week's video. Don't forget to head over to our website where you can sign up to view all of our exclusive content. And we'll see you next week for another Session Sunday.